This is the last video of our Magnificent 7 series. Thanks for coming along on this journey with us. We hope you'll find this last one helpful because it's about what advice we wish someone had given us before we thru-hiked the Appalachian Trail.
If I could give one piece of advice, it's the same advice everyone pretty much says when you're going to do a thru-hike, and that's never quit on a bad day. You're going to have bad days out there, but you're going to follow it up with great days, and just when you're done, you're going to look back and just be glad that you didn't give up and that you didn't quit. So never quit on a bad day, and just enjoy every single moment of it, because it's just like life. It starts out slow and long and tough, and then the time just moves exponential, and the next thing you know, you're staying on top of that sign. So enjoy every minute of it. And yeah, I wish you all the best of luck. Captain Chaos out.
So my last bit is about what I wish someone told me, and therefore hopefully what I'm going to share with you that will help your thru-hike. I think the most important thing is to look after your feet and change your shoes far more often than you think you need to. I wore Hoka Speed Goats and Ultra Olympus, both of which were fantastic for the trail, but they don't last as long as you think they would. I thought I'd probably get about 500 miles out of each pair of shoes. By the end of it, I changed them about 350 to 400 miles. Really important to look after your joints, your knees and your hips, and that is really affected by the cushioning in your shoes. It's not about waiting for them to fall apart and then replace them. And the other thing is make sure you plan ahead and think about when you're going to need to replace them in a week, 2 weeks time, and then get them delivered to a hostel or a PO box or however you're getting stuff delivered, because there may not be a place around that does the shoes you need or has got them in your size. So a lot of people on the trail who waited too long to replace their shoes and then picked up injuries as a consequence, or had to sit and wait out in hostels while their new pair of shoes arrived because they were falling apart and they couldn't carry on. It's a false economy. So if you assume a pair of shoes costs you, in pounds, say £120, in dollars $150, give or take, that's probably 2 nights in a hostel by the time you add on food, drinks, etc. And that's money you're spending without covering any miles. And you can see that happen quite a lot on the trail. So think about your shoes, think ahead about when you need to replace them. And in the middle sections, you'll be probably going for a pair of shoes in less than a month, which is, you almost replace one pair and you've got to be thinking about when you're going to need your next pair, because you'll be covering over 500 miles in a month in some places, or at least some of you will. Another bit of advice I'll give you is toe socks, so Ingenie toe socks. Again, I'm not on commission, but these are fantastic for reducing the risk of getting blisters. I say my feet, since I got home, my feet, in terms of the soles of my feet, which were quite tired, have taken the longest to recover from everything else. So, look after your feet.
I would tell up and coming thru-hikers, the trail is not easy by no means. You're going to hurt when you're hiking all day long. You're going to hurt. You will have pain. You're going to want to quit at times. You're going to have, they got ups and downs like life itself, and you're going to want to quit. And I know that saying, don't quit on a bad day. That's very true. So don't quit on a bad day. And I bet you I probably said that 100 times a day. I'm going to quit. But anyway, I don't think I ever really meant it, because we say stuff that we don't mean. It is all right to stop on the side of the trail and have an outright fit. I mean, just stop there, holler, shout, yell. If you're aggravated and everything else, just get out there and throw down and have a fit and everything else. Just don't break your tracking poles and everything, and don't break none of your gear. Now, that wouldn't be good for you. I had plenty of them. Get all your frustrations out. Just get it out and just keep on walking. If you don't make it to camp that day, camp shy of it. sometimes you just need to be out there by yourself. Virginia is not flat by any means. Start out slow, it's not a race, and I will guarantee you, people pass you down south, you're going to see them again up north. I will guarantee it. And stop and smell the roses, but don't let the grass grow under your feet. I've enjoyed it, and I hope y'all have a blessed day. And if you are thinking about getting out there and doing the AT, just get out there and trek on. All right, bye.
People who want to do a thru hike, what would we have wished to have known to maybe make our lives easier? I think if I had any recommendation, if I had a friend who said, hey, I want to thru hike the AT, I would probably say do like a 2-week trail before that. I think that's really where we learned everything from
I think it really
gear.
also changed our perspective starting out too.
Yeah. I would probably tell him to do the approach trail once, him or her, because the first time we did the approach trail, we were pretty tired and it was really hard. And then we did the AT, we started it, and then we did the approach trail, and because we remembered it being so hard, because it was our first ever hike, with our 50-pound backpacks back then, suddenly we had a different perspective. So I think just doing training hikes is really something where people can really benefit from and save money and also pain. I mean, we saw so many people that after 30 miles or even at the hostel around the bend, 70 miles in, would buy complete new gear because they say, my gear isn't working. And I think it would be better to realize something like that on a training hike before. But other than that, just take it, in 5-day increments. I think that was one of the best tips that we got from someone.
Like, 5-day trip, we can do that.
It's basically just a whole bunch of 5-day trips, and you resupply and then you take it again. You don't have to plan, or unless you have some reason to, for medical issues or whatever, to send yourself resupply boxes. You can really just take it week by week and just go with the flow.
Good morning, everybody. Everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are catching this. I'm wishing you all the best. Do I have any advice for up-and-coming thru-hikers, especially those of you that are reaching content here based on the Appalachian Trail? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I think I would give serious consideration to the time of year that you are leaving to do the Appalachian Trail. If you're interested in swimming and sitting in lakes and rivers and waterfalls, enjoying a good time with fellow hikers, I would leave just a little bit later in the year than I did. I left in February. I would consider a late March. Now, the trail will be busier. Some of the hostels will have some competition because you're going to be in larger volumes of people fighting for those resources. Something we had run into a little bit more north in the trail as hikers converged, especially northbound and southbound hikers. Reservations in the hostels became a little bit more competitive, so sometimes you'd have to plan a day or two out. Keep that in mind when you're heading out to the trail in the busy time of the year, especially if you leave in April down south. And what other advice would I give you? I would say to keep your load light, but don't necessarily keep it ultra light. I would consider a bounce box. There's a lot of post offices here on the East Coast. You're in town every 2 or 3 days. If you had a post office box that you could push a couple days ahead and you had time to take some zeros, if you had to wait, say on a Sunday to Monday to get that post office box, to have gear to get into the whites, you want something that's going to keep you warm if you're going through the whites that time of the year, late fall or early spring. Or even down south, you want to carry that winter gear. I kind of got rid of my winter gear a little early, and sometimes I wished I had dry gear to get into when I got into camp. I had no extra clothes. I had a pair of shorts, rain pants. that was it. So when I got wet through, and this year we had a lot of rain late in the season, basically I would have to get into my sleeping bag, in my shorts, wet, and take them off in the sleeping bag, getting my down wet, of course, and then have to warm up solely in my sleeping bag. So I would carry an extra set of clothes, something dry. Keep something dry, because you can't anticipate days and days on end of just wet weather. It's going to happen. It can happen, especially on the Appalachian Trail. That's my advice to you if you're doing the Appalachian Trail. So, hey, I want to thank everybody for joining us all here. Hey, everybody. Hey, Frizzle. Captain Chaos. Stinger. The Happy Camp Hares. Cup of tea. It's great seeing you all on this video series again. And God bless you all.
So if I'm answering this question, I'm going to say the first piece of advice I would give would be listen to other thru-hikers. You're going to gain a lot of knowledge from them. It doesn't mean that anyone is right and anyone is wrong, but I do believe the more different perspectives that you can hear about and learn from, the more prepared you'll be. I would also say make sure you do your due diligence from a research standpoint. I can't stress that enough. I think researching your gear, testing your gear, and doing the mental prep. I know I've mentioned these two books before, Pushing North and Appalachian Trials. Both of those books are excellent when it comes to some of the mental preparation that is necessary in order to successfully thru-hike the Appalachian Trail. I think if there was a piece of advice that no one gave me that I wish I'd gotten before I went on my trip, I don't know if it's advice necessarily, but information. It's not easy. None of it. There are some days where you feel better than others and you feel like you're on a cloud, but it's a hard undertaking, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's really a hard thing to do, but you gain the most when you push yourself the most. You grow the most in the challenges. And I think that makes it all worth it 1,000 times over.